like to whistle. Yeah. I'm going to get to the warning of this video here in just a few minutes. If you could bear with me for just a couple seconds to get to the heart of the matter. By the way, I have to start off with talking about, there was an environmental lawyer. She had some really puffy hair. And she was having a discussion with some representatives. And she kept saying, like, you need to reach into your heart. It was like, you know, like, oh, the world's going to end tomorrow. And, you know, Chicken Little nonsense. And, oh, CO2, warning, Will Robinson, warning. Talking about, like, destroying all petroleum processing and extraction. There's a brilliant representative, I think he was from Louisiana, and he absolutely tore her apart like a piece of paper. He's like, you know that lipstick you're wearing is a petroleum product, your hair product is a petroleum product, the clothing you're wearing is a petroleum product, the carpet you're standing on is a petroleum product. Everything that she said and did and wore on her phone is a petroleum product. It's just, she kept coming back. When he pointed out these empirical, demonstrable facts, she was like, oh, you just need to reach into your heart and see that, you know, nature's crying, and oh my God. It's just a bunch of knee-jerk emotionalism. This is a huge reason why humanity is self-destructing and nearly the speed of light. Everybody's like living in their own little fantasy land nutshell. Everybody's sniffing their own farts, living in their own fantasy. They've all got their own version of reality. It's like, I know you believe that, but you know that's what you believe. It's like, we're not talking about beliefs and feelings here, girlfriend. We're talking about facts. That's demonstrable, objective facts. You'd be like, this is a lead ball covered in rubber tape. Oh no, it's not. That is celery. That's the food of the angels. People are just crazy. Everybody is really living in their own fantasy land. There's a lot of reasons for this. I think you know what they are. This, among many things, is the reason why the world's going to hell in a handbasket faster than you can imagine. I'm getting to the dangerous part of this video very quickly, if you could bear with me just for a second. By the way, there's new statistic out, and I can confirm this, by the way. People are living in a zeitgeist of danger, this social ethos. It is getting much, much worse. I mean, I see it all over the place. Please, I read every comment, confirm to me that it is. I talked to my realtor buddy, you know, like crazy wackadoodle sort of people that are living in la-la land of just wackadoodle insanity. It's like you wish you never met them, and you certainly can't do any business with them. I talked to my realtor buddy, and I was like, I know it's not just me, and I've talked to a lot of people. They've all confirmed this, not to agree with me. And he's like, you're right, it's like easily 3 times way worse than it's ever been in my life. He's been doing real estate for decades. It's like people just, they've lost the belt has slipped off the engine of the motor in their car, in their head, excuse me. People they're just nuts. People realize kind of what's going on now. All that stuff that was conspiratorial, that's conspiracy. It's just like, oh God, it's real. Oh God, it's real. And by the way, the head of FedEx, I think the stock dropped 26% 3 days ago. Apparently, a package is a huge earmark, weather vane for how the world's going. Package, shipping, receiving has dropped off drastically. It's a 26% drop in stock. The head of FedEx said that he's certain that there's going to be a global, the United States is already in a recession, that there is undeniably going to be a global recession. He said that. That's the CEO of FedEx. Go look that up. Just type in FedEx CEO says global recession. You can read all the articles you want about it. I'm getting to the main part of this video here very quickly. I'm trying to make this short and sweet, believe it or not. By the way, strategic petroleum reserves of the United States, the knuckle fools in D.C. are actually selling it off like crazy to hostile entities and others. It's the lowest it's been in 38 years. This is, by the way, the nation's insurance policy, and the reason why they're selling off enormous amounts of strategic oil reserves is to skew the results of the voting that's going to go on in November, which is incredibly important. The SPR, Strategic Oil Reserves, is not meant for this. When you actually cancel drilling permits and stop all these pipelines and pumping oil, and you're selling off, in line with that, strategic petroleum reserves, that's the people's oil, by the way. Literally, it's the people's oil of the United States. Strategic petroleum reserves. meant for war and other dangerous things. So it's the lowest it's been in 38 years. And the only reason they're selling it off, I don't care about politics. I don't care what you think or I think about it one way or another. It is undeniably being sold off to influence the November 4th voting. 100% is, not my opinion. That's a fact. As a genuine expert of Russia, having lived there for a long time, a бывший русско-английский переводчик, former Russian English translator, yeah, I am definitely a bona fide expert on Russia. I know, the way the Russians think. You can't say read every Russian's mind, but they all think the same. They are kind of highly predictable, by the way. I get along fine with the Russians. Putin, if you trust me in anything, please believe me, Putin has no reverse gear. There ain't no shift on the gear stick inside that car that he's driving. His government. There is no reverse. There's no R. There is no R there. There's no reverse. People say, oh, Ukraine, and they are, due to Western advanced military tech that we've been shipping them by the truckload, including Europe and Germany, by the way. I also heard recently from a bunch of Germans that the German government has seized all energy assets, and he named off 5 different specific entities. Germany has seized, Deutschland has seized Russian energy assets and energy distribution centers in Germany. Seized them. Totally seized them. It's like, it is Russian property. Seized. I don't really care about that. I mean, it's important. But even though Ukraine, and by the way, there's a lot of Ukrainians in Lexington, right? Some of them go, Slava Ukraina! Slava Ukraina! They go, they never encounter Americans that know Russian or Ukrainian. I've been to Ukraine 3 times. Beautiful place. Super, super beautiful place. Love Ukraine. I'd love to go back there. The most beautiful place I've ever seen in my life is in Krim. Flew into Simferopol from Aeroflot, from the Autobus na Yaltu. There's a fantasy forest there. It's absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, Putin has no reverse gear. I predict a 90% chance of old Putin using tactical nukes in Ukraine. I hope it doesn't happen, but I predict at least probably higher than 90%. And old President...
this guy's never
President,
wrong.
Hair Sniffer. I was say that, President Hair Sniffer. He actually made a declaration like 48 hours ago, swagging his finger at Russia. Don't you dare use strategic. Even the government entities, CIA, NSA, have intel that assumes that Putin, he does not have a reverse gear. Please let me say it again. He does not have a reverse gear. He ain't going to pull out. They're being pushed back. You're full of nonsense. People told me I was full of nonsense when I told them he was going to invade. I had thousands of people. He's not going to invade. Like, oh, sure, he's stacking up countless hundreds of thousands of troops right on the border for no reason. It's costing a fortune every day to do that. Yes, he's going to invade. And of course, he did invade. I'm afraid he's going to use tactical nukes. He does not have a reverse gear. Here's the bad thing. This is from the Chancellor of the Exchanger. This is on the England's governmental website. It's also too, there's a Facebook of the video. I forget the guy's name. If you asked me for the link, I could send it to you. And this is the 3rd most important person in the UK. He's the head of the UK's economy. It's called the Chancellor. Chancellor of the Exchequer. Yeah, Chancellor of the Exchequer. I forget his name, sorry about that. The G7 today published a set of public policy principles for retail central bank digital currencies, or CBDC, alongside the G7 finance ministers and central bank governors' statements. It's about digital currency. The Bank of England, they can actually program it so you can only spend your money on essentials, or what the government says you can spend your freaking money on. Remember all those Canadian truckers? Remember all the Canadian truckers who were blocking downtown because, all the horrible things that were being done to the Canadians? And they set up a GoFundMe, and the government intervened, and they also, too, stopped the bank accounts of all these truckers. They were literally robbed of donations, robbed of gas for survival because it was really cold at the time. They needed the gas to run their engines, to run the heaters so they could stay alive. They robbed them. They stole from them. They froze their bank accounts. That's not my opinion. That's hardcore fact. It's in record. So if you want to know how dangerous the central bank digital currency stuff is, it'd be no different, even worse than the truckers. The government don't like what you're doing. Oh, no money for you. You can't buy food. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. They were keeping them from buying gas by freezing their accounts to feed their trucks so they could stay warm because it was bitterly cold at the time. Isn't Canada cold 100% of the year anyway? So, and there's been more move on this. This is on the UK's own government website about the Chancellor of the Exchequer. Chancellor of the Exchequer. The second or third most important person in UK politics, of the government, excuse me, I say politics, in the UK government. That is so dangerous. That is the epitome of dangerous. That is no different than making a puppet out of every man, woman, and child. They don't like how you're moving. Well, there's a string on your hand and leg and your neck. You thought, well, we're a puppet anyway. I know you're going to say that. You thought you were a puppet before. This time you're a hardcore line from whatever the government wants you to do, controlling every freaking move you make. What should I do? I don't tell anybody what to do, but if you got all your eggs in one basket, that is extremely stupid. So you should, diversification is incredibly important through many aspects of life. And it's incredibly important than that. I don't give anybody advice. Well, you're giving advice right now. Not really, I'm not. You have all your eggs in one basket, anybody with a half a brain will tell you that is bad. It's just flat out stupid. You shouldn't do it. Well, I'm already a slave of the government. Yes, you are. How about being a mega puppet of the government and the CBDC? This was called radical craziness. Like, oh, that's crazy talk. That's never going to happen. Oh, it's happening. And there have been more talk recently since this, and there's a video. It's on Facebook. I can give you a link if you want. It's called Chancellor of the Exchequer. He's talking about, oh, how great it is. The government's going to have digital currency. You'll be no different. The government don't like the truckers in Canada. Oh, we're going to freeze their funds. What, if they freeze to death? Who cares? We don't like what they're doing. The Chancellor of the Exchequer says that the government will have total control over you. They don't like what you're buying? Well, we don't think you should buy that. Oh, then you can't buy it. Isn't that nice?
Isn't that nice?
Aren't you nice? You're their little pet. This is the government. This is you. Oh, no, you can't do that. No, 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 no. No for you. You can't buy that. No, 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 no. Oh, you already bought a pint of liquor this month. Oh, you can't buy that. No more liquor for you. You can't be a productive slave. Subject. By the way, you know the difference between a citizen and a subject? You don't know the difference between a citizen and a subject, you should go learn. Free people are citizens. Puppets are subjects. They want you to be more and more and more of a subject. You think you got enough control over you now. Property taxes, car tags, every sort of tax imaginable. Right? Income tax, property tax, car tag tax. They will have total control over you. You will not do anything. You'd be like the people in the Shawshank Redemption. Like they're out working in the fields like, boss, can I go use the bathroom, boss? Yes. You have to ask to take a leak. I mean, it's not literally like that, of course, but it's essentially like that. Boss, can I use the bathroom, boss? Okay, boss. If you don't know how dangerous central bank digital currency is, you need to wise up really quick. And all of this, year plus ago, was said to be, oh, that's tinfoil hat craziness. That's not going to happen. Sure it isn't. Tinfoil hat craziness is an absolute reality, and it's on the UK government website. More and more things are involved. They're setting up the structure for that. Oh, yes, they are. This is the social credit system. Like, oh, you don't do what we like, then you money no more. Everybody will have a phone. You do something, you say something on social media, they don't like, oh, your funds are gone. You're a good boy for a week. We'll put some of your money back in your bank. And then you can go buy rice and beans. But you've been a bad boy. Bad subject. Bad. We're going to take your money. This is the social credit score system, which is in, you know exactly what country where that's at right now. There's thousands of videos of that. Oh, you said something on social media. With the government. No money for you. We're going to take your money away for a week. And after a week, if you apologize, oh, God, I'm so sorry. We'll give you enough money to buy some beans and some bread. Maybe some new clothes for your little kid. No money for you. That's exactly what Canada already did early this year, where they froze those truckers' accounts. They actually froze them out. Literally froze them out. They were freezing. They couldn't. No money in your bank accounts. Wiped out. Oop, government controlled it. Yep. Oh, I can't go buy diesel so I could run the heater and stay alive. Oh, I got to call it off. Government don't like that. That's exactly the way it's going. And if you think that's craziness, then you're nuts, because it's already on the UK government's website, and it's coming to a Western country near you. Tell me I'm wrong. I just dare you. I dare you. Tell me I'm wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong there, fat tattooed boy. No, I'm not. Because some of the same people that said it was wrong about Russia invading Ukraine. That's never gonna happen. Oh God, it happened. Sorry about that.
This ain't rice and beans. Ken's probably right.